All right, good morning, Do Hard Things Nation. This is your weekly wake up with Jay Teagues, Tom Kyatt. How you doing this morning, Tom?
Doing amazing. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. It's time to get the week started. How was your weekend?
Things are good, man. Things are good. I'm liking your shirt, baby blue. It's
Yeah, I
striking.
like it. I
What's the
like it.
deal? What does it say?
Lacey says it brings out my eyes. Remember why you started. Remember why you started. And what the theme of the week is the power of why. Like anytime that you have an endeavor that's worth a damn, you got to remember why you started, because during that on that journey, there's going to be things that are going to pull you away, distract you, hardships are going to happen, and you got to remember, you got to tap into the power of why. Like, why is it necessary for me to complete what I initially started? And if you don't tap into that, it's easy to get started on something else or get distracted.
Jay, so many people get
Tom,
started
what?
with.
Oh, go ahead.
People get excited. People get excited about whether it's losing weight, running a marathon, getting a great body, starting a new job. They get all excited, and shit hits the fan. They go through some obstacles, and then all of a sudden, they kind of forget their why. And we see that time and time again. 10, 12 days into their so-called mission, they've sputtered out. They're done.
Yeah, people's attention spans right now are, I mean, you have competing interests all the time. And oftentimes the reason that people, we talked about this like last week, like when you start an endeavor, your next breakthrough is to have a solid strategy. Well, what happens now is people, when they face resistance in their strategy, they might start like a 90-day workout program. And then about day 30 is they start to hit resistance. Old habits start to pull them back in. Something happened in their life where the old habits kind of take over and pull them back in, and they never see it through. And right precisely at the moment that they need to push through, when it's the hardest, they quit and then maybe start another project altogether. And they get in the cycle of doing this over and over and over again, and they never quite see anything through. And ultimately what that does is it erodes your confidence over time. Your subconscious keeps score. Every time that you say that you're going to do something and you don't follow through, your subconscious keeps score on that. And so describe a time, Tom, where you maybe had an endeavor that you that you started and you pushed through and succeeded. And what was your why?
That I pushed through and succeeded.
Yeah.
Okay. I was hoping you'd say that, because usually when I set my mind to something, it's all in and it gets done. A time that I pushed through and succeeded was my first bodybuilding competition. And believe it or not, I had talked myself out of that competition for years and years and years. I was going to enter in 2000, the year 2000. Really excited, great physique. I saw the poster of the champion on my wall. I got it ordered to me, and I go, I can't beat this guy. I'm out. Following year, same kind of thing. Following year, it took me 7 years before I competed. And it was at that point that I stared in front of my computer screen for an hour before I clicked the submit enter button. And at that point, I was all in. But here's the difference. The difference is I told everybody what I was going to do. I made a public announcement that I was not just going to compete. I was going to win this Southwest Natural Canada contest. I was going to win it. And when you put yourself out there boldly and you put yourself on the line, your reputation's on the line. I told everybody. I bought some new equipment. I invested heavily into my gym. We made T-shirts that said I was going to win the contest. That wasn't my idea. That was somebody else's idea. So guess what ends up happening? Are you going to back out and just slide through the back door? The boats were burned.
You absolutely burned the ships.
Command the island or look like a complete fool not doing it. Okay, so what ended up happening was I was all in. I was obsessed with winning. I was obsessed with entering. Right? There was no back door. And I think people need to do that. When you fully immerse, when you jump into the pool, you're in the deep end. That's it. It's sink or swim. And so many people kind of just, again, we've talked about this before, dip their foot in, pull it out. Dip their foot in, pull it out. You have to fully immerse.
Yeah, absolutely. Why 7 years? That's a long time, Tom. What were some of the fears holding you back?
Dude, I had this expectation that if I didn't win, second place was not good enough. And comparing myself to a vision of what was his name again? I can't remember his name, but that was the best picture he had ever taken of himself that was put on the poster. Every other picture did not look like that. So sure enough, this guy, I was so intimidated by the standard that was set by that poster that I didn't feel like I could live up to it. I was not enough. Funny thing was, I ended up winning that contest. And then a year later, Mr. Natural Canada, and I saw that same guy. He looked at me and he said, I would never want to face you. Like, wow. And I said to him, I said that same thing about you in 2000. He goes, what took you so long? I said, I was scared shitless.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. That takes incredible discipline, bodybuilding with the nutrition and the diet and the workout routine. Because I've always been like an endurance athlete, but it's the nutrition, the being incredibly disciplined with the nutrition that I just find fascinating and remarkable.
Okay. You can say that. You can say that. I want to dumb this down totally. There's nothing big about entering a bodybuilding competition and getting lean. There's nothing big about losing 40, 50 pounds. It's all mechanical. You have to drink a certain amount of water, so do I. You have to eat, so do I. You need your protein, so do I. I have 3 straight meals. Whenever I competed, I just stayed under 2,000 calories. If I stayed under 2,000 calories and I got my 190 grams of protein in, I was good. You know what the discipline is? Saying no to pizza on a Friday night. Saying no to this extra beverage on a Thursday afternoon. That's all it is. There's nothing special about doing that. Anyone can follow through. The discipline is saying no to some of these desires, this desire for relief, escape. That's all it is. Anyone can do it.
Because you had the strategy, you had the recipe for success. It's just a matter of, just like any recipe, you got to follow it in order, and you got to crack the eggs in a certain order. You got to put the ingredients in. You got to do all and follow it. But if you compromise that, you throw an ingredient in there that doesn't belong in there, you screw up the whole thing, right?
Right.
And that's where the discipline is, right? It's saying no. This is what I'm working with. I'm going to heat up the oven just like it says. I'm going to do these things in order, step by step, and you're going to get probably a result. And that's any endeavor is like that. And I like that you point that out, because for me, I always thought that's something that you're right. It's the discipline of saying no and committing and finding the strategy for success, maybe getting some coaching and community. Yeah. But the hardest part is just saying no and everyone struggles with that type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's finding a strategy. And as I said before, it's making that public announcement that you're going to follow through, that you're accountable. It's amazing how I am excellent at paying my taxes. I used to be excellent at paying my mortgage before we didn't have a mortgage anymore. I was excellent at paying my car payments. Why? Because there was an external force that said that if you do not do this, you shall lose your house. You shall lose your car. Repo man is showing up. It was an external influence. When you have a goal, when you set up a goal, there is no external influence. Imagine saying this: if you don't lose 30 pounds, you're going to lose your kid. And it sounds preposterous. But the bottom line is, you'd figure out a way to lose your kid if you took it to lose the pounds, if you knew that was actually a viable option, right? Yeah. But we put these internal influences on ourselves, and what do? We cave at the first moment that we run into an obstacle. And then, like you said, Jay, you start looking at past events where you failed, and you go, well, of course I failed. I failed in this, I failed in that, I failed in that. Get all the wrong reference points, and you say, you know what? I'm just not cut out for this. I'm not enough. Why do I even bother trying?
Yeah. A lot of people, they have those. You develop self-limiting beliefs over time because, like you said, your subconscious keeps score all the times that you failed and didn't see things through. Yeah. And I with my clients, my high performance clients, we're always setting like lofty goals. But there have been times where if my people aren't achieving the goal, like, okay, hold on. If every week there's going to be a commitment and you're going to see it through, And if there becomes a pattern of you not achieving your commitments, so we need to scale it back, because the last thing I want you to do is eroding your confidence. You've got to 1% better every week. You got to do what you say that you're going to do, or you're not going to see results. And if you overcommit, that becomes a habit of biting off more than you can chew. And then you overestimate things. And that's not high performance either.
We did something in the Forge group where we shared our goals. We shared our quarterly goals. And I remember saying to you, and I said to the entire group, I will get down to under 170, and I will be under 10% body fat in 13 weeks. I did that last week. I finished that last week because my mind was so on the fact that I was not going to let myself down in front of a group of peers. I did that last week. It was the same with another project. I said I was going to help my son out with his business. In 13 weeks, we were going to launch his business. We launched it a week later because I put myself out there. The moment you put yourself out there and you have that public accountability within a group and you follow through and you keep score, you have to follow through. You have to. Your reputation's on the line.
Yeah, no, I love it. Massive action, right?
Yep. That's
setting a goal, taking massive action, because oftentimes people will set these goals, and I see this a lot too. They do the FOMO thing where it's like, oh, well, there's a group of people that are going to do this thing together, and it's like, oh, well, I need to go and do this too.
Yep.
And then, bad habits, distraction, whatever happens, and then they don't follow through with it. So your why needs to be like incongruent with who you are and what you want as a person, because that's a common pitfall that I see. Then once you identify it, you really start to take focused, effort and massive action and try to get to it as quickly as you can. Once you start taking that approach to your goal setting and attacking them, you're going to start, it becomes a habit. It becomes a winning strategy and a habit every time. Yep. And oftentimes what people do is they're taking on too many things at once, and they're never quite, they got that broad front strategy where they got 10 projects going on, and they get frustrated because they're not making any progress, because you only have so much bandwidth. You can only do so much. So in high performance, no more than 3 major projects. And sometimes people don't even estimate what a project is. Like I tell people, like if they're doing a 75 hard program, that's one of your 3 major projects, because that's one of the things that's eating up a lot of your time. And people will have 4 projects and they're trying to do 75 hard on top of that. And then they don't finish any of them, or because they get overwhelmed. Yep. And that becomes the cycle of habit.
Yeah. It's crazy though, Jay. I've been in Costa Rica for almost 2 years now. Time has flown by. Every Monday, I'm like, okay, another week. And then all of a sudden it seems like a snap of a finger and it's Friday again. I'm like, what is going on with time? It's just flying by. I have one life. Okay. I'm 51 years old. I don't know how many years I've got left. Hopefully another 50. But the reality is that I don't have time for petty little projects. I got to make an impact. I've got to influence my kids. I've got to do special things in my community. There's no time for petty projects. And I think you got to get whatever you're passionate about, pick that one project's going to give you the highest yield. That's the most important. That's the most significant. Stick with it. And I know this sounds stupid. I think I got this from, part of it from Andy Frisella, where you do a bit of a power page. On one side, you write down all the reasons why you need to do what you need to do with regards to that project. I know this sounds corny, but there's a power in writing it down. Every single reason why, all the pros. And on the other side, all the reasons why, if you didn't do this project, here's what would happen. And of course, this is for a meaningful project. All the excuses, all the negatives on the con side. Cut your paper in half and actually burn the con side. Burn the negatives. Literally take a match to it, ignite it, and put the pros on your anywhere that you can see it, that you're constantly reminded. And then make the most of it. You got one life. What are people waiting for? I have no idea what people are waiting for these days.
I love that. I love the burning of the cons, because I've done the exercise where you write down your why and you remember it when you want to quit. But the cons aspect, the significance of doing something ritualistic like that is very powerful.
Burning it, I remember doing it. And like the first thing was, where am I going to burn this? Like, I don't want to start a fire here. But the moment I burn is like, wow, that was actually kind of empowering. It was the weirdest feeling. It's like, it's done. That's gone. Screw the negatives. Everything's forward from here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the reason for high performance, the reason that we have these conversations is we're trying to, you know, this is a practice. All these little tips and things that we do, the journaling, the planning, you know, the regular get-togethers and the community meetings, all that is to really help us stay on track, to rewire our brain, because we have so many bad habits we don't even realize. We don't even realize all the neural pathways, all the BS things that we've told her, the stories, the limiting beliefs, these bad habits that are pulling us away from achieving our highest potential. And that's why all of these little tips and tricks and things that we do on a regular, continual basis enables us to stay focused, because there's just so much distraction, so many things that we do that pull us away from achieving our highest potential.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If you fail, first off, there is no such thing as fail. But if you have this perceived failure, okay, no problem. Learn from it. Move on. That was not the way to do things. All right. I've got a powerful brain, and I'm saying I, meaning all of us, have a powerful enough brain to say, let's just change directions. It's not a big deal. It's all we got to do. There is no failure. You learn from it and you move forward. It might take you longer. That's okay. At least you're on the journey.
Yeah. I think about, you know, the setting boundaries by the power of utilizing the word no. Because oftentimes we'll start these endeavors, and remembering why you started is basically protecting. You got to protect your projects. You got to stand at the gate and protect your projects. And people are scared to tell other people no. The habit of people pleasing or not wanting to hurt other people's feelings. And then what happens is you don't say no, and you do this out of obligation when it's time to. I see this a lot with people like volunteering, right? And this is going to sound kind of harsh, but this is a common thing that I see people do. They volunteer for their church in a role. They volunteer for a nonprofit organization because the heart's in the right place. They want to help. They don't want to hurt the pastor's feelings. But when they do show up, it's like, man, oh, here we go. I got to go do this thing. I'd rather spend time with my family or whatever, but I got to go do this thing because I said I was going to do it. But they show up at 60%. They don't even want to be there. It becomes an obligation. And when they could have just politely said no and maybe found someone else that maybe did have the bandwidth that truly wanted to be there. But that people pleasing type of, it's a pitfall for a lot of people. And they do it out of a place of love, but it doesn't serve them and it doesn't enable you to achieve your goal.
No, they do it out of, totally out of a place of love, but that's just weakness. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Give me some more thoughts on that, Jay.
Well, these organizations like that, they're always under strength and under resourced. So what happens is good people, especially high performing people we always want to serve, we get involved in something like that. And then because you're a high performing person, they ask a little bit more of you, a little bit more of you, a little bit more of you. And then eventually you get in this position of like, I'm just so overwhelmed with this. And then you actually go to a place of resentment where you want nothing to do with it. Maybe you just kind of quit altogether. You're just like, I'm done with it. And then you look at the organization and you're just like, I'm just over it. And it's happened to me. It's happened to me. So that's why I know where that's at. And I've talked to a lot of people that have had that happen. And I say all that because that ultimately is a common pitfall for a lot of people that distracts you and keeps you from doing the critical things that you know that you need to do, or the goals that you have in your life that are really moving you forward.
Oh yeah. Now this is just as an aside, it's somewhat related. I remember in teaching, I was a lead teacher at one point where I had to get some projects done. And, you got your staff of teachers. So who do you ask to get something done? You ask the 20% that gets the 80% done. You don't ask the 80% that gets 20% of the stuff done. You ask the best people, because guaranteed they're going to get the job done. They're proven success people. Now, having said that, of that 2 out of 10, you've got the one person who's going to say no, and they're going to say, hey, Tom, you know what? I'd love to help out. I just don't have bandwidth because I'm doing something really important in this lane. And they have no problem saying no. Whatsoever, because they're already on a mission.
Yeah, that's something that I had to learn the hard way. I was always tapped to do difficult tasks because I was the guy that could get things done, but at,
Yep.
eventually it caused a lot of overwhelm. And I learned the power of saying no. Or if I was tasked with something, I would go to my supervisor and be like, "Look, I can do what that request that you have of me. However, I'm decisively engaged over here, and if I take this on, this is what's going to happen over here.
Yeah.
Which one would you like me to do? Because I can't do both." And that was
Yeah.
like a politer way of kind of giving it back to the supervisor, and letting them choose their own adventure of where they wanted me to put my efforts, because I just can't do both effectively. If you
Yeah.
do, I'm going to assume risk. If I do this for you, you need this done, but I'm going to assume risk over here. So what do you want me to do?
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
And then there's also a polite way of saying no to friends and family and people like that. It's like, look, I appreciate you considering me for this. However, I have other priorities right now. You don't even have to elaborate, because if you say I don't have time, this is one thing. If I don't have time, people will find time for you. They'll figure out a
Yeah.
way
No
to find
kidding.
your time.
Yeah.
It's just not a priority for me. I've got competing interests right now, and I can't give 100% to this. Thank you so much for considering me. I know it's going to go well for you, and
Yeah.
just let me
Yeah.
know how it goes, and if there's anything I can do for you in the future. That's just like a polite way of just saying no,
Yeah.
and that
And you know
shields
what?
you.
It does shield you, but you know what a lot of people say? They say, no, you don't. You don't have other important things. And they're like, but we have a strategic partner. I want to get my thing done. I need you. But here's the thing. There are certain people who know, and I'm just saying this hypothetically, but Jay, I know you're on a mission. When they know your mission because you've publicly stated, hey, this is what I'm doing, they won't even ask you. Well, they might, but they probably won't even ask you because they know this guy is so invested in his own project and he's making things happen that I'm afraid to ask him. Because they see that you out in the forefront, you're doing things. It's the person who's kind of hiding their projects that, of course, they're going to ask them because they know they're really not that busy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're on a mission here. Tom, what drives you? What drives you to get up in the morning and take time to be on, be on the stream today?
Man, being average is not good enough. Living a life of existence, selfish existence, is not good enough. Jay, I told you, I don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
But then you're kind of looking around going like, okay, what's the point of life here, man? Like this is kind of BS. I mean, I'm here on this earth to make a difference, and anything less is not good enough. I could have slept in.
Yeah, I love it, because a couple weeks ago, like, hey, what is your title? Well, you said I'm retired, but that's not the title that you hold. You're an entrepreneur, right? Because you could literally do nothing if you didn't want to. You're living it up in Costa Rica. You don't have to do anything.
I don't have
But
to do anything.
like you said, that what's the meaning of life, right? There's a deeper purpose. There's a deeper drive. A lot
It
of
goes
people
beyond me. Yeah.
yeah. A lot of
How about
people
you,
are.
Jay?
I am driven by the same. I know that there's so many people struggling out there, and I know that they can live their fullest potential through grit, fortitude, and discipline. And there's just more to life than just working for a paycheck and checking Netflix and video games. There's just more to this. And I'm driven by, there's so many people that are suffering with mental health issues. And I truly believe that if you're operating at as a high performer, like, your resiliency is a byproduct.
Yeah.
And I just think that there's so many people that are truly missing out on life. And I've been at rock bottom, and I know how that feels. I made a lot of tactical errors in my life. And it's all the things that should have been taught in school and maybe by your parents that aren't. And there's a void in leadership. And I just want to help kind of fill that void and help people avoid the same pitfalls that I made.
Yeah, big time. And you can see it. You can see it in your actions, Jay. I will say this, because some people may be listening to this and saying, well, you know what, Tom, you're retired. Of course you feel like that because you can settle back and you can just chill out and do whatever. Of course you feel like that. What about me? I'm a hardworking person who puts in 40 hours a week. I was there for 25 years, 40 hours a week. And then my business that took up 25 hours a week. I worked Monday through Sunday, Saturday, Sunday were work days. And then Sunday night, I had a break. Saturday night, I had a break. And if you asked me, or if you gave me a project, I worked my ass off. And guess what? There were times where I needed an escape, but I also felt at that point, 60, 65, 70 hours, I need to make a difference in this world. You know how many pro bono projects I worked on where things were done for free, coaching people for free because I saw potential, and they didn't have the money and I didn't have the heart to say no to them because I saw their potential. You got to get passionate about something. And if you don't, life's a fucking waste.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think about just looking back at my career and my life. I joined the military because I wanted to serve. I want to be part of something greater than myself. And even when I got to my low point, I'll be honest, I think I kind of got detached from my original reason why, just from the day-to-day grind of the hardships of it and whatnot. But finding this next mission and this passion has reignited me. And what I realized was that a lot of people have a common pitfall is that your reason why is often tied to a specific role that you have, whether you're a parent or a career role. And then when that loses its luster, or you get to a point of retirement, or the kids leave the nest, it can leave you empty. And I think that's why a lot of veterans really struggle. I know that there's a lot of like moms that struggle because their whole identity was, I'm a mom. Then the kids leave, they go off to college, like, I'm completely empty.
Yep.
I kind of had that feeling. I stayed in the military because I didn't know what my next mission was. I couldn't just fathom working for corporate America. But when I started connecting the dots on, what was it that I loved about the military? What were my favorite things? Coaching, mentoring, doing difficult things and seeing them through, the meaningful pursuits, being a part of something, the camaraderie. I'm like, okay, well, this isn't the only vehicle that I can do that with. I can create something and start this movement and do this over here and put that energy there. And once I figured that out, this game on. And now I'm like chomping at the bit to get out. Like I've appreciated my service, but I am ready. But for the longest time, didn't know, scared, just because I didn't know what my why was. I didn't know what my purpose was. So that's powerful for me.
Oh, totally. Jay, I will tell you this, though. There's a lot of people listening to this and say, well, Jay, you have your passion. You found your purpose. Tom, you found your purpose, but I don't really have this passion. I'm not passionate about anything. I want to be, but I'm just not. There was a point in time, and I taught for 25 years, Jay. There was a point in time where I was good at my job. Phys ed teacher, going in 20 years in, I'd walk in, the kids knew exactly what to do. They could run the class by themselves because I had them trained to do that. They liked the class. I was walking around on autopilot going, is this all there is? Is this all there is? I'm a gym teacher and like just coaching some teams and that's it. And there was a point in time where I really had to examine and say, this is not enough. I love my job, but I need to make a greater difference. And then there's this philosophy. So this is for all the people out there who are like, what is my passion? All I said was this: somehow today, I'm going to make a difference. And I left it totally open. Somehow today, I'm going to make a difference in somebody's life. And then the exciting thing was, life started getting interesting. I was looking for opportunities. A teacher's in a corner, just kind of struggling, head down. Hey, you okay? Can I sit down and talk to you a little bit? And we'd have a conversation, and that teacher would perk up and say, you know what? Thank you. I really needed that conversation. Walk out of their classroom, and I'm like, they feel better. I feel fucking amazing because I helped somebody else. That was not my intention. That was not part of my job. I just started looking for opportunities. And when you start looking for opportunities, life becomes passionate again. But, woe is me. I got to find my passion. No, just fucking do shit for people.
Yeah.
Like connect with people. Serve. That's all it is. So if you don't have a passion, just serve in a way that you see fit, and watch what happens on a daily basis when you have that at the forefront of your mind. You're going to go to bed fulfilled saying, I did good today. That was a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. The two things: serving other people, helping them win, whatever that is, whether that just be serving in like volunteerism or just
Yep.
helping someone in on a business effort, bringing your
Yep.
skills and helping
Yep.
someone succeed. Or it's creating something. Humans were designed to
Yes.
create whatever that is. And oftentimes when people lose their passion or their interest, they, I always steer people back to what made people feel alive when they were younger, because the very things that made you feel alive as a child is probably still relevant today. But oftentimes we have forgotten what those things are. And if you can just connect the dots on what those activities are, what are the things that make you feel alive? And you're going to have to try different things. And so, because a lot of people are just so caught up in the day to day, and they're distracted with alcohol or Netflix. They're not willing to get out and try anything new. Well, it takes effort to get out and try something new. It takes effort. I hear people all the time, I would love to fly a plane. But it takes effort. It's going to cost this amount. It's going to take, that could be a whole new career for you. That could be something that just, but you haven't given it a chance because of the effort that's required to do it, because you don't want to face the resistance. Oh, it's going to take a weekend, or it might cost me a couple $100. What is it costing you not to?
Yep.
So
and I'll tell you right now,
a little bit.
Jay, when somebody says, I want to become a pilot, I know a guy who wanted to become a pilot. He said, you know what he said? And he's an executive. He's a high-powered executive. Guess what he says to people about what he is? He goes, I'm a pilot. He flies this little Cessna plane. I don't know if it's like 1-seater or 2-seater. He says, I'm a pilot. He says, Tom, it feels damn good. I said, well, were you scared? He says, yeah. But he says, I needed to do this. And it was so fulfilling. I consider myself a pilot now. I said, but you don't do it professionally. He goes, no, I don't. I'm not good enough. But it was such a passionate thing. Jay, there's so many people out there who I would love to hear from somebody saying, you know what? I want to be a pilot, versus hearing their bullshit excuses. Because fact is, I don't give a shit.
Yep.
I don't give a shit about your excuses. Nobody does. Nobody other than your mom and dad want to hear those excuses. They don't even want to hear it. So yeah, you can hide behind those excuses, but guess what? Nobody cares.
I love that that analogy, or not analogy, but identifying that, because there's a lot of people that have careers, but they have like they're a bodybuilder, they're a triathlete, they're a CrossFitter. Like if you ask them what they are, it's not necessarily tied with their career. It's what they're passionate about.
Yep.
And those are the things that, I'm a performance coach. That's what I'm most passionate about. If you ask me who I am, it's the first thing I'm going to tell you. And yes, I'm also major in the Army, and I'm an endurance runner, and I love those things too. But what am I passionate about? Performance coaching. That is it for me. That lights my fire.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
So, nobody cares. Work harder.
No. Do you find that people, very few people actually, try new things? For example, you want to go and run, and you realize running's not for you. That's okay. Try something else. Okay, you go to the gym, working out's not for me. That's okay. Maybe I'll try the piano. I'll learn how to play. And then you play for a week or two and go, this is bullshit. This is kind of boring. That's okay. But my advice to you is just keep looking for those things. Try things out, because one thing might stick.
Yeah. I think about Angela Duckworth's book called Grit. It's a great book on the topic of grit and discipline. And that's one of the things she says. In order to find your passions, you've got to be disciplined about trying new things.
Yep.
And she does the do hard things challenge with her family. Like at any one time, her family, every member of the family is doing something. They're involved in a sport. They are playing an instrument. They're challenging themselves in some capacity. And in doing so, you're going to find what lights your fire. Once you find that spark, it's game on. But so many people, and that's the problem with technology today, is so many people, they're living vicariously through TikTok and Facebook, through other people that are killing it and crushing it. And they're just super fanning, and they're not, and then they're left empty because they're like, I wish that were me, but I can't. And they have this limiting belief that they can't do it. And they're not living their own life and trying these things. Well, Tom, we're at 35 minutes. And before we wrap this thing up, we got our second Do Hard Things Nation nomination and winner this week. So if this is your first time listening or watching, what we're doing every week is we're giving away a shirt and a patch. We're taking nominations for someone that's crushing it in one of the core 4 lines of effort in the Do Hard Things Nation: your health and wellness, They've maybe have run their first 5K. Maybe they crushed an Ironman, because doing hard things is scalable to anyone.
Yeah.
Affluence and wealth. Maybe they've achieved a financial milestone. Maybe they have retired from a career, done something in that department. The relationships. Maybe they had a big breakthrough in a relationship. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe they had twins or triplets. Or maybe they have hit a anniversary of some kind, like a significant milestone, or their development, a new promotion, a big milestone in their career. Maybe they graduated a specific course or something. So we want to hear from you. And every week we're going to pick out, a compelling story and someone that's absolutely crushing it right now. So without further ado, this week's winner, I'm going to try to share my screen here on this one. Let me see if I can figure this out. So bear with me. It's Bob Burgess from Dixon, Missouri. Let me tell you a little bit about Bob. Can you see the photo there? Bob there?
There we go. We got
there's
Bob up there.
There's Bob. Well, that's me. Go back to Bob. All right. I got to figure out the screen thing. So bear with me here. All right. So that's Bob Burgess. So Bob is 74 years old. He's a Vietnam veteran. So he served his country honorably. And after 74 years old, he just started training for a couple of 5Ks. He completed 2 5Ks, and he's going to be, he set his sights for a 10K, the Honoring Our Heroes 10K, which is in November. And he's just crushing it. So he served with honor and distinction. And at 74 years old, he's out getting after it. And I just think that's incredible. So you are the winner. You're going to get this shirt, the Remember Why You Started shirt. We're going to send you a patch. So thanks, Bob. Keep crushing it, and let us know how that 10K goes. And if you're listening to this,
awesome.
Yeah, I think Bob's fantastic. I've heard a lot of great things about Bob. He's in our local community here. So
Bob, if you are listening, congratulations. 74 years young, 74, on the way to a 10K. Bob, if you can possibly do this Wednesday night, we've got another one of these for our evening crowd. If you can pop on, I'd love to see you. I'd love to say congratulations. We'd love to hear from you. Wednesday night, if you can pop in to just share a bit of your story, we would love that. AJ?
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I've got his contact information, so we'll see if he can make it. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Schedule allows for that, but that would be.
What time is it on Wednesday, Jay?
6:30 Central Standard Time. We do the Do Hard Things Nation community call. So there's 2 calls. We do the Monday morning weekly wake up, just me and Tom riffing, and then on Wednesday evening we have a Zoom, so you can actually hop on. We got it's 30-minute call, so it's real quick, and we just kind of riff on a topic, and we just want to create a community and tribe of like-minded people. We do that before the membership call, which is the Forge Mastermind. We go live on that at 7 o'clock. So it's a hard stop. It's only 30 minutes, open to the nation. But if you're ready to level up, you're ready to take the next step, you want a couple high performance coaches, world-class coaches, and a tribe and a community of people that are absolutely crushing it. You want a space where you can share your struggles, share your wins, join the community. We're looking for other like-minded people to join us. So
big time.
And this episode is sponsored by DoHardThingsApparel.com. Lacey just dropped these hats in. You get the patch with the hat, and we're dropping a new shirt every week. So go show the world that you do hard things. And when I wear this shirt, I'm not going to forget why I started. Someone's going to, I'm going to crush it.
Okay, but hold on a second. He gets that shirt. He gets this shirt. Not the shirt you're wearing, but that style shirt.
Not this shirt, because I got up. I'm a little
I know. I was kind of concerned about that.
I got my chest in this morning. No, he's going to get a new shirt. And I'll drop that. I got the link here. If anyone else would like a shirt, bam, there you go. There's the link. Grab your shirt. Remember why you started. So
beautiful. It's a beautiful shirt.
It is nice. It brings out my baby blue eyes.
He's going to like that.
Lacey's doing a fantastic job designing these things. So.
Oh yeah, big time.
But Tom, is there anything else before we wrap it up?
That's it, man. I had a good time chatting today, and I'm looking forward to Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to meeting our guy and just chatting it up with him if he can make it, as well as anyone else who's coming out on Wednesday night.
Awesome. For everyone out there, remember why you started. Do hard things. Live life on offense. Hopefully we'll see you guys Wednesday night. And we're also looking for nominations. If you know someone crushing it, DM me, email me, jay@jteagues.com. And we'd love to hear your nominations out there. So keep doing hard things. We'll see you guys.
All right. Cheers.
soon.